The most powerful, radical act of self-love is to never give your power away to another human being. People will try to take it. There's ways to block that. But do not willingly give your power to another human being unless it is something that you are absolutely sure is in alignment with your highest good. Hi, friends. Welcome back to Call Cut with Angélique. I'm Angélique. And today we're going to talk about the power of standing in your own sovereignty and not giving a damn what anybody thinks about you. Now, on the surface, you hear people say this all the time. Don't care what people think about you. It doesn't matter. What people say about you is none of your business, and on and on and on. And that's all true. However, in theory, it's fabulous. In practice, it's a lot more difficult. And it's a lot more difficult when you come from a background of abandonment, betrayal, disappointment, or you feel inherently unlovable. And that could come from past life, that can be this life, that can be a multitude of things that is affecting your ability to stand fully in your power and pull your love from your inner wellspring. So today I'm going to talk about this, and I'm going to show you a trick to reverse that so that you're no longer looking for the external validation, but you are deeply satisfied with the internal validation, not coming from a place of pride, ego, or narcissistic tendency, but from a real, genuine place of self-respect and self-love. Some of the most incredible people you will ever meet that you think are the most confident or that have it all together are fractured on the inside. They are out there desperately trying to get attention. They are out there desperately trying to be validated. And if you look at the world today and you look at social media alone and you see how many people are out there, putting themselves on a platform and trying very hard to gain followers and gain acclaim and gain notoriety or influencer status. And they believe on some level that this will help them to fill a wound. And that wound is the wound of love. It's a love wound. It's a love wound. And what I mean by that is we all, at our very, very basic level, unless, you're an NPC, a walk-in, or, a soulless being, we're all looking for love. We're all looking for connection. We're all looking for belonging. We see this, how it plays out in community. People want to be part of communities. They want to be part of tribes. They want to be included, accepted by the whole. And that gives people a feeling of safety. It means that you are worthy. And yet it doesn't matter that there's a toxic side to this, right? Because again, we are in a polarity and we have the opposites playing out all the time. So that seeking of validation so that you can have belonging to fill the wound of love actually has an opposite effect. And that opposite effect is what we like to call people pleasing. Where sometimes you will be in a situation where everything in your being tells you this is not right for me, but in order to gain the approval of that other person or situation or group, you'll sacrifice your own well-being in order to please others, in order to get in with that group, in order to be a part of something. Now, if it's done in a healthy way, where you're meeting people where they are, you're standing in your sovereignty, they're standing in theirs, and there's a mutual exchange of energy, well, brava and well done, because that is how it should play out. That is how it looks on the highest level and the highest form. It's perfect, right? You have one being and the other being, and there's commonality there, and there's belonging, and they've now created a community, and they have this peaceful coexistence and this beautiful exchange of energy. And that is what we call friendship, ultimately. But somewhere along the line, these things can get skewed, where a friendship may not be that because one person is pulling from another person's need to be liked and using that for their own selfish gain. This is where you'll find people will say, oh, I get used. I'm not friends with that many people, and people use me, or people aren't real and they're not being true to me, or they just wanted to be friends with me because ... A lot of relationships, and I will say this, and I'm not going to say this is a good thing. A lot of relationships these days have become incredibly transactional. a what can you do for me scenario. And if you are someone like me who is more relational than transactional, then that is not going to be a healthy scenario for you, no matter how shiny or glittery somebody might make it appear. Anyone who knows that you are seeking their approval also knows that they have power over you. And I know there's going to be people who are like, no, Angélique, no, you got to think about this long and hard. If somebody has control over your emotions because you care what they think of you, then my darling, they have power over you. The most powerful, radical act of self-love is to never give your power away to another human being. People will try to take it. There's ways to block that. But do not willingly give your power to another human being unless it is something that you are absolutely sure is in alignment with your highest good. I went through my cell phone the other day and I removed 55 contacts. And I said to myself, going into 2026, I need to make space. And the only way to make space is to get rid of any energetic residue that is no longer in alignment with me. And one by one, I said, if I haven't spoken to you in 6 months, you're out of my phone because there's no reason for us to be connected in that way. You have to make the decisions in your life as to what you will accept and what you will not accept. But when somebody knows that you care what they think, they have power over you. When somebody knows that they can needle you and poke you and you're going to get upset and you're going to react and you're going to be hurt, they have power over you. Now, I am not going to say that it's easy. It takes a lot of mental strength and really calling cut on those storylines in your head that are like, oh my God, they don't like me. Who cares? Oh my God, they're going to hurt my reputation. No, they're not. They don't have that kind of power over you. What are they going to say about you? So what? We have to stop giving people our power and being afraid of what they might do. If somebody does something to me that I don't like, if somebody does something to me that crosses a boundary, now in my 40s, I will ice it and cut it. I will cut and run and I won't care. Go live your life. I don't care. But you're not going to be in my sphere. You're not going to be connected to me. This is important because when we allow other people to have that kind of power over us, it actually drains our energy and it takes our life force energy away from all the things we need it for. And make no mistake, all the dreams you have in this world, you can bring them into fruition, but you can't do it without energy. You need your energy. If you are exhausted by people, if you are constantly caught up in, oh my God, are they gossiping about me? What are they saying about me? Am I included? Am I not included? Who cares? I had a girlfriend years ago who never wanted to go to an event by herself, ever. And she said to me, I can't walk into a room by myself. I said, wow, I love going to events by myself. It just doesn't bother me. I can sit at a table, I can talk to whoever's there or not, depending on how they respond to me. It's really not a problem for me. I can sit in a room where I know all of those people are friends and I'm not, and I'm pretty sure I'm not their vibe, but I can still get my work done. I can still do what I have to do. And that's especially true for whatever it is my heart is set on. I'm going to do it and I'm not going to allow other people around me to influence me. And this is not to say that I was born like this. I absolutely was not. I was not born with this ability. I was a person who was desperately wanting to be loved because I had abandonment issues with my father. My family moved every single year in elementary school, so I didn't really have childhood friendships, and it was a lot harder to make friends. Every single school I went to, it was starting all over again. And as a kid, that's really hard. And then even when you finally do get to a place where you stay, they've all had friendships that were developed years and years before you ever hit the scene, and their parents are friends. And my mom was not that type of woman. She wasn't out there making friends with anybody. She's always been a little bit of a lone wolf, which is actually a good thing. As a kid, you don't realize how that's a good thing, but being a lone wolf means that none of this ever impacts you. You just live your life and do you. You're not worried about what everybody else is doing because you're 100% in yourself. And it's not easy. But as I said, I came from a family, a broken home. My father left my mom. My mom was crazed and upset all the time. And so this is not an environment that's conducive to healthy mentality as a child. As a matter of fact, you're trying everything you can to keep the peace in the house because you don't want your parents to fight. You don't want the drama. You don't want the chaos. You're terrified that, one more fight and it's all going to fall apart. So you do everything that you can to people please. Well, that's a nasty, bad habit, as my therapist would say, that comes into play later on as you get older and you keep doing the same thing. You people please. A lot of times you have a range, right? So on the one hand, you people please in order to keep the peace. But when you get to a fracture point or a breaking point, you go to the other extreme and you get very angry. And the anger comes from feeling trapped because you can't get away from that energy. You don't want to have to be in a position where you're seeking approval, but you also don't want the fight or the conflict. And so you're going to do everything in your power to avoid it. But when you do everything in your power to avoid the conflict with somebody because you're afraid of how they will react, you self-betray. And every time you self-betray, you create more internal resentment. And every time you have more internal resentment, you get angry or you get sad. And those emotions get trapped in the body. And then that's a whole other thing about how those emotions then turn into disease. But that's for a whole other podcast. So what we want to do is we want to nip that little nasty bad habit in the bud now. Doesn't matter how old you are. Doesn't matter how long of your life you've been doing this. We want to get rid of that habit now. So every time you're in a situation where somebody is a little demanding of your time or you find yourself not really in alignment with them, but you're going to try to keep the peace, pull back. Stop yourself and think. Because you need to be able to stop yourself and say, is this really something that is in alignment with my soul? Does this lift me up? Is this going to take me to the place that I want to go? Or is this me once again just acquiescing to somebody else's demands because I want to be liked, included, or part of something? And this is the power of self-reflection. Because again, when you get to a point where you don't care if somebody is your friend, you don't care if somebody's out there talking crap about you. You don't care if they're on social media telling people lies about you. I have a friend that said to me about a year ago when I was on social media, there was a group of kids on there that were trying to make up rumors about me, attack me, spy on me, copy my work, make up lies, all this garbage. 20-year-olds, of course. My girlfriend was, and I was really disturbed by this, so I'm not going to say I wasn't. I was absolutely disturbed by their behavior, which was borderline diabolical. Not only was it diabolical, but they were borderline stalker energy, and still, to this day, stalker energy, right? And I remember I was with my attorney, and I was giving my attorney all of this stuff. And he said to me, my God, what do you do about this? And I say, I ignore them. And I said, I block them and I ignore them. And as soon as I do so, I remind myself, I don't care about people that are not in my life, talking to people that are also not in my life that I don't care about me. If you would like to waste your energy talking about me, if you would like to waste your energy trying to take me down, by all means, sir, by all means, madam, go right ahead. But that is a waste of your energy. We give our power away to nonsense. And if we really stop and think about it, 90% of the things that we hyper-focus on is nonsense. We hyper-focus on things that don't really matter, on things that are not affecting us directly, on people who we probably should have let go of a long time ago. I always say I have a nasty bad habit of leaving people in my life far past their expiration date. I can admit it. I know that sometimes I allow people to stay when they should have been kicked out a long time ago. It's all a process and a journey, and we have to give ourselves grace. We have to be peaceful and kind to ourselves in these situations, but we also need to keep calling cut on those moments. And the moment we feel something to, whoa, is this in alignment with my highest good? Is this person a vibrational match to me? How do I feel when I talk to them? I had a girl I was friends with on social media, again, a very new friendship, and I really liked this chick. Over time, I started to realize that I would get knots in my stomach when I would talk to her, and I would feel drained, and I would have these nasty migraines. And I thought, could it be that it's her? That my body is having a reaction to this woman? Like she really doesn't like her? And I remember we had our final conversation and I was telling her something and I said, "This chick is gaslighting the hell out of me. And I don't like it. And I am not going to be friends with somebody who is a pathological liar, who is overcompetitive and underqualified, and is now gaslighting me on top of everything else." And that was the last time I ever spoke to her. I took her number out of my phone and I went about my way. And this was hard because I really, really liked this girl. I liked her a lot. I thought that we were almost like a soul aligned sort of friendship, but I was wrong. It's okay to be wrong. It's okay to misjudge somebody. A lot of people wear cloaks, friends. They come in and man, do they know how to put that on and swoop you in, and they say the right things to you. Ironically, the first time I met this girl, it was on a group call with other people. I really didn't like her. And I got off the phone and told my best friend, yeah, everybody was okay. There was this one girl, so and so. I wasn't a big fan. Next thing I know, she sends me a message and we have a call. And I thought, oh, maybe I misjudged her. Let me give her another chance. Well, I gave her the chance. And for a really short time, I had a great time. I thought this girl was a wonderful, wonderful friend. I really did, until I didn't. And then I had to make a decision. Am I going to stay in this and have a little bit of a faux friendship because I don't want her not to like me or whatever BS goes through your brain? Or am I going to cut and let the chips fall where they may? So for me, at this stage in my life, I do not entertain this nonsense. This stage, I call cut on myself and I do it all the time. And I say, no, this is not good for you. This is not in alignment with you. And I am not going to care what this person thinks, who they talk to, or what they say. This is a muscle that you must build, and you must build it often. And you've got to really work it out because you are going to be hit many, many, many times on small levels and on very, very large levels with the need to be liked. And I don't want to conflate this, right? Because there are situations where you need to be amiable. You're working with a team, you're doing a project. It's nice to have a peaceful coexistence. It's nice to have a collaborative environment where everybody is showing up and doing their part, including you. You have a likable, easy personality. That's wonderful. But that doesn't mean that you get into a work environment and you do all the work because you want everybody on the team to like you. And so you're overextending yourself constantly because in the background is running a program of like me, like me, like me, like me. They're going to like you, but they're going to like you for the wrong reasons, friend. They're not going to like you because you're a good worker and you're efficient. They're going to like you because you take the workload off of them. As a result, the energy exchange then becomes giver-taker. It's not a beautiful exchange of energy. No, no. Now you've opened the doorway to somebody to allow them to take advantage of you. And a lot of this is done unconsciously. So, do I think that people are out there, looking to manipulate you? No. Are there some? Yes. Don't be fooled. There are people who are out there who are calculating, diabolical, and manipulative. That's a fact. But not everybody you meet is trying to do that. There are people who just take advantage of situations because, hey, that's what they do. If you present it, they take it. In order to fully step into your power, you have to love yourself enough to have a boundary. You have to be able to say, if I were all alone and it was just me, myself, and I, am I okay with that? Do I have my approval? Do I think I'm lovable? Do I know that I'm worthy, that I matter? Do I know all of this? Because if you don't know it, you've got to find it. You have to figure that out. If you don't figure that out, then you end up having leaks in your energy. And there are people who can read that energy very, very easily. And you will attract those people to you. And you may get external validation from them, especially narcissists. Narcissists are great at figuring out that somebody needs to be liked or loved or needs to be needed. And they go right in for the kill. Again, what I said at the top, when somebody knows that you're looking for their approval, they use that as a power trip over you. They have power. So don't let anybody have that power over you. Say no sometimes. Don't say yes to everything. If you have a friend that's always, let's go do this, let's go do this, let's go this, and you really don't want to do it, say no. Don't say yes for the sake of saying yes. Don't go out to a club or a bar or a dinner or an event or a birthday party or anything else if you don't really want to do it. Because every time you say yes when you really want to say no, you self-betray and a little bit of your power goes poof. And you're going to have to work doubly hard to get it back. So how do we do that? How do we stop ourselves mid-range and say, wait a minute? Well, this again, call cut. You can always cut yourself and be like, wait, stop. Is this something that I want to do? Is this in alignment with my highest good? If all cylinders firing say yes, go. But if there's any part of you that is doing anything begrudgingly or reluctantly or because you're afraid of a consequence, this is a danger zone, friends. Okay. If you're doing something at work because you want to be liked and you're willing to take on more than others, this is a danger zone. You can earn your keep, you can show your value, and you could do it by maintaining your boundary. There's a lot of healthy ways to do that. You don't have to overextend yourself to prove to the team that you're worth something. You got that job. You're worth something. If you're in a family situation, you don't have to fix your family dynamic. If you're young, if you're a child, you don't have to fix your parents. Your parents have to fix themselves. That is their responsibility. It's not your responsibility to keep the peace for them. They're the parents. They have to keep the peace for themselves and for the sake of their home. So when you really stop and think about it, this is all about calling back your power, calling back your sovereignty, standing unapologetically in your light, standing unapologetically in self-love and saying, I don't need anybody's approval. I approve of myself. Seek relational experiences, people who give as much as they take. Be careful of folks who hone in on your weakness. Don't tell too many people a lot about you right away. Allow time to get to know somebody. I tell you guys this because I have made every single mistake there is to make, right? I can't even explain to you. I mean, I could never in my 20s sit here in front of a camera and give anybody advice on anything, okay? Because I was all kinds of twisted. But when you untwist yourself, you take your power back. And there is beauty in having to come up and face this stuff because you start to realize that you're far more powerful than you thought you were. Even the story that you have been telling yourself is incorrect. You're just allowing those people way too much power. But the minute you decide to pull the plug, they disappear. Do the work and put your boundary up and maintain, again, peaceful coexistence. But don't be affected by their BS. Don't be affected by their nonsense. There's nothing that people hate more than to be ignored. People that are trying to torment your soul don't want to be ignored by you. They want to torment your soul. The end goal is for you to be upset. Well, if you know that the end goal is for you to be upset, why would you be upset? It might seem like this is a long shot for you. You might feel like you've been people pleasing your entire life and there's no way that you can back out of it. And I'm here to tell you, you absolutely can change this pattern. It is just a habit and you can absolutely change it. You can change your behavior by changing your thought, changing your belief, and changing the emotion that you have associated with this pattern. If you know that you are somebody who consistently self-betrays and gives other people your power, and is distracted off of the things that you want to get done because your energy is scattered elsewhere and it's not hyper-focused on you, then you need to start calling cut on yourself, bringing yourself back to center, and every single time reevaluating. Why do I do this? Is there a better way? What is the better way? Let's discuss what the better way might be. How can we enter this situation without losing our power? How can we end this friendship without hurting somebody? How do I speak up for myself? These are all questions you ask yourself and see what you come up with. I hate to say this, but this is where AI actually does come in a beneficial way. You can ask, I'm in this situation and I really don't know what would be the best way for me to deal with this situation, maintaining my highest integrity and staying in my highest and best self. All of life is just about will. Where are you going to put your will? Are you going to put your will in the determination that I am going to stand in my own light and I am not going to give my power to other people? Or are you going to will it away? Are you going to allow the opinions, thoughts, and criticisms of others to affect you? Remember that you are an energetic being first. So this energy does affect you whether you believe it or not. So you really do have to learn to shield yourself up, put yourself in a golden bubble of light and really make it impenetrable. Whatever material that you see it as, close your eyes and really go all in on that protective bubble and wrap it around you and allow yourself to sit in that bubble without being distracted, without losing focus. And sit with yourself and ask yourself, what is my next move and what is the highest and best path for me to get there? Remember, friends, you are far more powerful than you think, and your energy is your most precious commodity. It is your life force currency. So protect it with everything you've got. Thank you so much for joining me on Call Cut with Angélique. New episodes drop every Friday. If you like this content, please subscribe, like, share with your friends. And remember, folks, no matter what life gives you, you must always keep shining.